So, when can you use the binomial? Okay, now I've told you when you should consider using it. It's all about repetitions. There are 4 conditions necessary. 1, the number of trials must be fixed in advance. By trials I mean the number of repetitions. So you need to know in advance that you're going to plant 10 flowers. Okay? You need to know in advance that you're going to be pulling 20 cards out of a pack. If it's something like play tennis against each other until one of you wins twice in a row, you can't use this. Because you don't know how many games you're going to play. You can only use this if you know how many repetitions they're going to be in advance and you stick to it. Okay? That's the first. The second is the probability of success must be constant. Okay? It can't change throughout the course of the exercise, throughout the course of the trials. If it's some sort of tennis situation, and the more games you play, the more confidence somebody gets, and therefore their chance of winning is in fact more than 60% or whatever, you can't use the binomial. Okay? The reason why you need to know these is because they ask you. The exam will say, state the conditions for the binomial. You just trot these things out. Okay? So the probability of success must be constant as the trials progress. 3, there must be just 2 outcomes. In other words, success and failure. Okay, we already spoke about that the other time. Remember, if there's 3 outcomes, you can always just fiddle it. So if it's win, loss, draw, just say win, not win. Or lose, not lose. Okay, or 6, not 6. Okay? And the 4th condition is independence. Okay? Now, do I need to remind you what independence means? Yeah, it's a stats 1 thing. Okay? People often think of independence as physical independence. Okay, so I toss a coin over here with this finger, I flip a dice over here with that finger. Those 2 processes are not coordinated, they're independent of each other. This finger ain't going to have much to do with what this finger does. And I don't have much control over flipping a dice anyway. That's physical independence. But independence is a technical thing. Independence is when how one thing turns out does not change your opinion of the probability of how another thing turns out. So in other words, let's say behind this book I've thrown a little dice, yeah, and I ask you what's the probability that the number is even. You say half, because it's 3 out of 6. Yeah. Now I say, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I can see that the number is greater than 2. What's the probability that it's even now? Still half, isn't it? It's 2 out of 4. I'm not denying that, but that's still half. In other words, the new information, what I told you that I'd forgotten to tell you, namely that the number is bigger than 2, does not change your opinion of the probabilities. That's independence. Okay? Now, independence in the context of binomial means that after you've had 10, let's say the probability of getting a flower in these pots is only 20%. So not many flowers are going to happen. You're expecting what? 2.5 flowers? Okay? Let's say after 9 flowers, 9 pots have come to season, you've got 9 flowers. It's amazing. Your probability, your opinion of the probability that the last 1 flowers still has to be 20%. Okay? If you think that it's now more likely because clearly you didn't understand the plants or you potted something other than you thought you were potting, you can't use the binomial. Okay? That's independence. In other words, your information on the first 9 flower pots does not change, does not give you any light on the probability of the last. Okay? If all 4 of those apply, you can use the binomial. Okay?